G'day. Right now, there's a really important conversation happening all across Australia about one of our oldest and most trusted institutions. The future of Australia Post is at a massive crossroads. And the choice we make isn't just about stamps and parcels, it's going to say a whole lot about what kind of country we want to live in.
So what's this all about? Well, it really boils down to one simple question. Is Australia Post just another commercial lifestyle brand trying to compete for your dollars? Or is it a civic utility, a fundamental piece of our national infrastructure that's meant to serve every single one of us, no matter where we live? The sources we're looking at today argue it absolutely has to be the latter.
All right, so here's what we're going to cover. We'll start with what Australia Post is legally meant to be. Then, we'll look at why that network is under threat and unpack this idea of a privatization playbook. After that, we'll flip the script and think of AusPost as infrastructure, explore a bold solution with a public bank, and finish with the massive choice facing all of us.
Okay, first things first. To really get what's going on in this debate, we have to go back to basics. We have to look at what Australia Post's fundamental legal purpose actually is.
Now listen to the words here. Reasonably accessible on an equitable basis. That's not how you talk about a business, is it? That's the language of public service. The law itself says AusPost can't just chase the easy money in the cities and ditch everyone else. It has a legal duty to serve all of us, fairly. And you know what? It's not just some old, dusty law either. Even the government's most recent official statements talk about stewardship, not shareholder value. They call AusPost an enabler of essential services. Again, that's how we talk about our vital infrastructure, not just some regular company out to make a buck.
Okay, so that's the official story. But here's the problem. There's this massive gap opening up between what AusPost is supposed to be and what a lot of us are actually seeing on the ground. And that gap, well, it shows the whole network is under some serious strain.
I mean, does any of this ring a bell? Delivery times are changing, prices keep creeping up, the services you used to count on are, well, they're shrinking. Your local post office feels like it's hanging on by a thread, and when you ask why, the government tends to keep its distance, saying, oh, that's a commercial decision for the board. Look, let's be fair. Things have changed. We're not sending as many letters, and the parcel game is super competitive. No one's denying that. But, and this is the absolute key point here, just because things are disrupted doesn't mean we have to just sit back and accept that the whole service has to go downhill. Decline is not our destiny. So this brings us to a pretty confronting idea. What if this decline isn't an accident? What if it's following a familiar pattern? A kind of unspoken playbook that's been run before, when public assets are being softened up to be sold off. It's a story that goes something like this. First, you tell everyone the institution is old-fashioned. Then, you say it's losing money, that it's unsustainable. Pretty soon, it gets painted as a burden on the taxpayer. And then, the final move. Once the service is bad enough and everyone's fed up, privatization is wheeled out as the only sensible, if reluctant, solution.
So the real question isn't whether there's some secret plan written down somewhere. It's much simpler. Are the decisions being made right now, and the ones not being made, creating a future where selling off AusPost just becomes easy, politically possible, because we've all been convinced there's no other way out?
But here's the thing. There is another way. It just requires us to completely change how we think about the post office. We need to stop thinking of it as just a business and start seeing it for what it truly is, essential infrastructure. This analogy just makes so much sense. Think about it. We don't demand that every single road in the country turns a profit, did we? We don't ask a bridge in a small town to justify its quarterly earnings. We build them because they connect us. They create value for everyone. The argument here is that Australia Post is exactly the same. It's the connective tissue holding the nation together. Now, this doesn't mean it should be wasteful. Not at all. It's about having that commercial discipline, running it efficiently, but doing it for a public purpose. The goal isn't to make a profit for shareholders. The goal is to run a great service. And if there's any surplus, you put it straight back into making the network better and stronger for all of us. Okay, so if we agree it's infrastructure, the next question is, what else can we build on it? And this is where we get to a really big practical idea. A way to use this incredible national network to help fix another huge problem we're all facing. It's called a postal bank. And before you think that sounds radical, it's actually pretty common in places like France, Switzerland, and New Zealand. The logic is dead simple.
You've got this amazing retail network that's literally everywhere, and people trust it. So why not use it to provide basic banking services, especially when the big private banks are packing up and leaving town? And let's be honest, that is exactly what's happening, isn't it? We're all seeing it. Banks are closing branches, they're ripping out ATMs. It's happening at an incredible pace. And it's leaving these massive holes in our communities, particularly in regional Australia.
So when the last bank in town shuts its doors for good, what's left? For so many communities, the answer is the local post office. Through its Bank It Post service, it has already become the last line of defense. It is literally the last counter standing.
A proper public postal bank could be a total game changer. It solves so many problems in one hit. 1, it guarantees every Aussie can get basic banking. 2, it gives local post offices a stable income, making them more secure. And 3, it creates a national system for cash, so for emergencies or for the millions who rely on it, cash is always there. Because right now, the future of cash in Australia is being decided by thousands of little commercial decisions made in private bank boardrooms. That's not a national strategy for a vital public good. As this source puts it so powerfully, it is an abdication of responsibility.
So this all brings us full circle, right back to the start. As a country, we are facing a really clear choice here, a huge decision about what we want our post office to be. There are 2 paths in front of us. Down one path is, well, a smaller Australia Post, a managed decline where it does less and less for fewer people, slowly backing away from its purpose. But down the other path, we reinvest. We treat it like the essential infrastructure it is, and we give it a new, powerful public purpose for the 21st century. And here's the bottom line. If the government is truly serious about keeping Australia Post in public hands for good, then it has to start acting like it. It has to act like an owner. That means taking real responsibility for the service we all get, not just hiding behind corporate autonomy while the whole thing is allowed to wither. So that's the final question for all of us, really. Are we going to let our national postal service be privatized by neglect? Or are we going to seize this chance to build a new public purpose for it? The choice, ultimately, is ours.